Hi guys, it's Mansi from NARA. Today we have with us the judge for Artist of the Month, July 2021, Simpson, a.k.a. the Fluid Fox. For all you people out there who do not have an idea about what NARA Artist of the Month is, NARA Artist of the Month is the fastest growing and biggest competition exclusively for alcohol-ink artists to showcase their talent on a global platform. The winner stands a chance to be featured on our packaging for a whole of 3 months and get exciting exclusive goodies from NARA. So Katie, for our audience to know you a little better, could you please go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit?
So first of all, I really want to thank you for having me as a judge for your July competition. I'm really excited to go through all of the entries with the animals and everything. So that's really exciting. So yeah, a little bit about me. So I am Katie Simpson of the Fluid Fox, and I am based in the UK, and I am a mixed media artist. So that means I use like lots of different things all in my art. So I use ink and I use resin and I use acrylic paint and I use texture detailing and everything all in my work, and I kind of combine them all into pieces all in one. Sometimes I do just resin, sometimes I do just alcohol ink, so it kind of depends how I'm feeling. But yeah, so I do lots of different things, and I also love encouraging other artists to follow what they want to do as well.
That is amazing, Katie. It's lovely to see how you've established yourself and contributed to this alcohol ink art community. So let's go ahead with our little Q&A session, Katie. Okay, so the first question is, how did you come across alcohol ink art?
So I first came across alcohol inks when I had done a few resin paintings that I absolutely hated, and I didn't know how to fix them, and another layer wasn't going to cut it. So I thought, what can I do? What can I add? And then I thought, okay, I've seen alcohol inks online. I'll give these a try. I'll see if I can do anything with these. And I didn't have a lot of faith in them to begin with. And then I think my first colour that I bought was blue, like a deep turquoisey kind of blue, and I thought, oh, okay, that's quite nice. So I used that. I made a new painting on top of the resin, and I thought, okay, this is where I want to take this. I like this. And then you could kind of see the resin details underneath, and I was like, okay, yeah, we like this. And now I have every single colour under the sun that you can imagine. So now I'm just obsessed with alcohol inks and adding them and making new textures and new details with them. So yeah, that's how I first discovered them, was just by making a mistake and trying to fix it.
That's really interesting and inspiring, Katie. So moving on to the next question, how has your journey been as an alcohol ink artist so far?
So my journey as an alcohol ink artist so far, I would say it's been really good for the most part. I have ruined a fair few canvases with my experimental stages, but that's all part of the process, and if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have learned other things that I've learned along the way as well. So every mistake counts as a blessing. So yeah, no, it's going really well. I think my followers really appreciate that I'm like kind of branching out into different mediums. So yeah, no, I think it's gone really well, and I can't wait to do even more with alcohol ink. So yeah.
That's really interesting, and we're absolutely very glad to see how far you've come. Has there been any funny, surprising incidents that happened while working with inks you'd like to share with our audience?
I think it was a month ago, maybe a couple months ago now, I was doing like a big pink painting, and I had my gloves on, so I thought we're all good, we're like not gonna get stained hands, and I was wrong. So I had like a massive hole in the top of my glove. So this is my main glove that I like do things with, like my main hand that I do things with, and yeah, there was a massive hole in it. So I got a really bright neon pink finger, and it must have lasted for probably a week, and like all the nail and everything was just like bright pink, and it just, yeah, it looked very odd. It looked a bit like an ET thing, but yeah. So just always maybe wear 2 pairs of gloves when you use alcohol inks. That's what I've been doing since.
That's really amazing, Katie. Moving on to the next question, where do you get your inspiration from?
So my main inspirations are from like basically nature. So literally the forest and the sky and the oceans and the beaches and the rock formations and crystals and gemstones. This one itself here is inspired by moss agate, which is like a really pretty crystal, which basically like encapsulates moss and leaves and stuff all inside the crystal. So yeah, I get a lot of inspiration for especially my layered pieces from crystals and oceans. But yeah, as a whole, literally just nature and just the world around me.
I think that's really amazing. All of us get our inspiration from the tiniest things that occur to us. Do you have any tips and tricks for our young budding artists while working with alcoholics?
My biggest tip is not to do with the art, making the art itself, but it's to do with making mistakes and not being afraid to make mistakes and to try things that you probably know won't work, but they might, so you might as well try them. I've made plenty of mistakes, and I wouldn't call them mistakes, I'd just call them learning curves. So the amount of canvases that I have thrown in the bin, the amount of canvases I've got now that I need to throw in the bin, it's all part of the process, it's all part of growth, and it means that my style still remains my style because I continually make mistakes in order to learn new processes to use in my work. So yeah, I would definitely just say, don't be afraid to make mistakes. If you do make mistakes, don't hate yourself for it. Don't be really annoyed at yourself for it. Just move forward with it from what you've learned from that, rather than saying, oh no, I can't do it. Oh no, what if this, what if that? No, just like look at it, say, okay, that happened. What are we going to do next? So yeah, and obviously if you are just starting out, also start small. So you don't want to be making huge mistakes and like ruining massive canvases and using so many mediums and all of the inks and everything. So yeah, start off small and work your way up, especially if you're in the experimental stages. So yeah, that's my biggest advice.
Okay, well guys, I think everybody should take a note of this. Moving on to the next question. What do you think about Alcohol Inc. as a career?
So Alcohol Inc. as a career, or just art as a career in general, we, in this time and space with social media and with, parcel companies that send art across the world, we are in a really good place as a community to grow our businesses and to grow our clients and to move forward with that. And that's a really positive thing. I'm also a big realist. So I also have a part-time job. I know I have like a large following and, I'm doing really, really well, but I think it's always good to have your eggs in a couple of baskets and not to put all of them all in one. I'm also very aware that social media changes quite regularly, and sometimes our reach can be amazing and sometimes our reach can be really low, and it's like, well, no one's seeing our work now, so what are we going to do? So I do like to keep something on the side. Art is my main income, and I am very thankful for that, and I am doing very well, and I love everyone that supports my business and my art. It's incredible. But also you do have to be realistic, and you should kind of have something, have a safety blanket, have a safety net. So that's the word, not a safety blanket, a safety net. So yeah, have a safety net, have, as much, dream and like dream big and have ambition, but also, just be aware that some days, some months can be quiet, and you might need a little bit of extra help that month, especially if you're just starting out. So yeah, so it's a fantastic time with the tools and everything and the opportunities that we have in these days and times, but just be realistic with where you are at and what you are willing to risk.
Thank you, Katie. These are really great inputs. Okay, so here's the final question to you. What do you think about NARA's Artist of the Month competition?
I think it's a really great competition. So, it gets like the community together and it gives everyone a brief to work to. And I think it's been really, really cool to see everyone's entries, all of the animal ones and all of the different animals, and like how people are kind of reading the brief and going forward with it. I think that's a really cool idea. I think this competition is like amazing, especially like for beginner artists to kind of like get into the community. Like, I think that's a really great idea. So yeah, no, well done to NARA Papers for thinking of this and having the initiative to move forward with this. I can't wait to judge them. I know I said this earlier, but like I've seen some of the entries and they just look so nice. So yeah, I'm really excited to go through them all and pick winners and everything. So yeah, no, keep at it, and I can't wait to see even more entries coming through.
That is really so sweet. We really aim to make this competition to be the biggest and the most exciting competition for all the Alcohol Inc. artists out there. So Katie, thank you so much for giving us your very precious time. We had an amazing time talking to you, and we hope you do great wonders in this Alcohol Inc. community. Also, have a really nice time judging all these beautiful entries from NARA's Artist of the Month July 2021. I hope you have a really nice time.
Thank you so much for having me. This interview's been really fun, and I can't wait to choose the winners and see what NARA does next. So, yeah, no, thank you and goodbye.
Also, lastly, thank you so much, guys, for joining in. We're definitely going to go ahead and bring in a lot more of these Q&A sessions. Also, at the end, at NARA, it's your art and our products.